Dr. Berger, it's such a pleasure to meet you and see you. How are you?
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I am a huge fan of your book. It was one of those things when I was at the agency. I bought a copy for every single person. The six
Well,
steps
thank
just
you. I appreciate it.
completely. Oh, no, this isn't just like fluff. This is legit in every single agency pitch presentation. Whenever we're developing a social media strategy, when we talk about content, it's always the six steps that always comes to mind. So I am beyond thrilled and excited to meet you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So at Agency Summit, you'll be delivering the closing keynote address talking about why things catch on, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But first, I'd love to know a little bit more about you and your award-winning best-selling book, Contagious. Like I said, I absolutely love it. How did the idea for the book actually come about?
Yeah, so I joined the Wharton School probably about 15 years ago and started teaching a course called Contagious: Why Products, Ideas, and Behaviors Catch On. It blended social networks and word of mouth and viral marketing and social psychology and sociology and a variety of different things into a class to help both undergrads and MBAs who are interested in the area sort of understand why things become popular. And a couple years in, the class was full. We had three sections of the class, two MBA sections, one undergrad. There wasn't room for more students, and people kept asking, could we get in? Could we get in? So I'd share the syllabus to different people, and not everybody could take the class. And finally, someone said, wouldn't it be great if there was a book that sort of encapsulated part of the class? And so I'd been teaching a framework that I'd put together, an early version of what became the STEPS framework. And I was sharing it with students and getting different examples and sort of testing different research principles. And finally, I thought, maybe they're right. Maybe we should put this in a book. So I ended up writing Contagious and putting together the framework into what we now think of as the steps. And I really loved the opportunity to apply this with all sorts of industries and organizations, from B2B to B2C, from products and services and ideas, from expensive things to cheap things, all sorts of different sales processes and sales cycles, both online and off. By understanding the behavioral science of why people talk and why people share, we can get all sorts of things to catch on. And so that's why I'm so excited to talk about Contagious both today and at the summit in a couple weeks.
I am absolutely excited. I know, right? The producer comes in with the sound effects for the win.
Great
And so
sound
you're
effects.
I know. And so your keynote for Agency Summit, Why Things Catch On, is based on that book. And thank you so much for that person who had suggested it to you that saw the syllabus and says, this needs to be a book. So can you share maybe a few key points and takeaways that marketing
Sure.
agencies can learn without giving
Yeah.
away too much?
No problem. So I think the main idea from the book is we all know word of mouth matters, right? We know it's much more impactful than traditional advertising. We know that it's cheaper. We know because we listen to it every day, right? The restaurants we try, the stores we buy from, the apps we use, the services we try. Most of these things we hear about from other people. And so it's not surprising that word of mouth has a big impact. The key question, though, is how do we get it? Right? We see things catch on at the grocery store, in our personal lives, at the office, but why do some things succeed and others fail? And more importantly, how, by understanding that science, can we get our own stuff to catch on? Can we build more effective marketing campaigns, both on social and off, and generate more both online word of mouth and offline word of mouth? And that's really what Contagious is all about. It's not random, it's not luck, it's not chance. There's a science behind why people talk and why they share. We've looked at thousands of pieces of online content, tens of thousands of brands, millions of purchases around both the United States and around the world. And again, these some same six factors come up. And so in Contagious, I put them in a framework called the STEPS framework. I will talk about the STEPS framework, not to steal any thunder, but I'll talk about the STEPS framework at the event, outline these six key drivers that lead people to talk and share, and most importantly, share some tips about how we can use these ideas. I want you guys to leave with at least one or two, maybe even three or four things you can do tomorrow to apply these ideas to help your marketing campaigns be more effective.
Brilliant. And so then one final question, Dr. Berger. What's one foundational piece of advice that you'd like to impart on marketers and marketing agencies today?
We got to put the customer in the center, right? It's all about understanding the customer. I am a big believer in the customer journey. I teach the marketing core at the Wharton School. Every year that I talk about it, I find it deeper and richer, really understanding who your customer is, what do they need? What are you selling really fundamentally? Not just what you make, but what you actually sell. And how by understanding that customer and that customer journey, can we build marketing activities and actions that are effective at all aspects of that journey?
Brilliant. Dr. Berger, this has been a real treat. And I know I speak for our entire audience of marketing professionals and agencies that we cannot wait to be there live for your keynote at Agency Summit on August 25th. And for everyone else, if you haven't done so already, make sure to RSVP. Head on over to agorapulse.com/summit right now and grab your ticket. And I'll see you